Hey guys, it's Christina Cimorelli. Welcome back to my second channel. You probably know me from my main channel, Cimorelli, which is the band that I'm in with my sisters. On this channel, I make videos about pregnancy, eventually, well now, motherhood, motivational, inspirational stuff, marriage and life advice. I'm a little tired because I have a almost 3-week-old, if you can't tell. So crazy, now we have a new member of the family joining, so insane, Barrett. And in this video today, I'm gonna be telling you guys about the story of his birth, which is so crazy. And then I'm gonna do a Q&A from Instagram, my Instagram, who else's Instagram, from the questions you guys sent me at the end of this video. So we're gonna jump right in. Well, it all started. Well, he was born on August 3rd, which was a Monday, but it all kind of started more on Sunday, August 2nd. So on Sunday, we were at church, and I had this feeling like I really need to pray, like extra about his birth. He's doing kind of a funny face. He's like, I had this feeling that I really need to pray extra, and I really need to like depend on God and lean on God. I just had this weird gut feeling like, okay, you really need to start praying and you really need to trust God. So I was like, okay. So I started praying a bunch in church, and I said to Nick, like, oh my gosh, this like could be our last time going to church with him inside the womb. He wasn't due for 12 more days. He was due on August 15th, but we thought I was gonna have to be induced early because of my blood clotting disorders. So we didn't know when he was gonna come. But anyway, I said, oh my gosh, this could be our last time at Mass without him outside the womb. That's so crazy. I was right, but I didn't realize. So that night I started to have contractions. I thought they were just cramps, but they were like coming in, what do you call that? Coming in, what's the word I'm looking for? In a pattern. Guys, you probably think of the word I'm looking for, like in a certain amount of time. I don't know what the word is, like 10 minutes apart or something like that, I don't remember. And I was like, I think it's just cramps, but Nick's like, it's contractions. I was like, well, it just feels like cramps, which I guess, whatever, I don't know. I don't get all of it. But it was contractions coming at intervals. Is that the word I'm looking for? And then they stopped. They weren't very painful at all. I think it was just like, I don't know, early labor stuff, whatever. I found out later the reason for all this. Oh, I should mention, this is a very traumatic and kind of disturbing story. I mean, it could be way worse, but some of the stuff may be very traumatic or disturbing to you, so don't watch this unless you want to see some of that. You're ready to hear that. But it's not the worst. It's really not that bad, but it could be bad for you depending on how you think. Anyway, so then on Monday I went to the doctor and she was like, you're 2 centimeters dilated, 50% of face or something like that. And I was having contractions again in like, I don't remember what intervals. I didn't think they were contractions, so I didn't really bother timing them, but I kept noticing like these are coming pretty regularly. But I was like, they don't really feel like much, so I don't think I should time them. Whatever. Then I lost part of my mucus plug and I was like, whatever, I don't know what that means. Could be anything. And then the trauma starts. So on Monday night, I wrote it down, at 7:37, I was feeling, my sisters had come over and they were helping me like clean the house, which was awesome. We were getting everything all ready for him, got the house all clean. And I was having contractions kind of during when they were here, but I was just like, whatever, it's just cramps. It's not contractions, whatever, I don't know. And then they left, and then I was like just feeling he was like so low. I could feel so much pressure. I was so tired, my gosh. I could barely be on my feet for very long. I was getting more swollen. I was just like, bleh. And I went to lay down at like 7 something. So at 7:37, I was laying there and I heard a pop. It was just like everyone says in their stories. It was this loud pop, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was totally my water, which I just knew. So I went to the toilet, and this is where it takes a turn. I thought, oh my gosh, my water broke. I went into labor on my own. Yeah, I'm not gonna get induced. I thought, oh, it's gonna be a natural birth, yeah. No. So I went to the toilet and sat there, and this is where it gets gross, and all this blood started coming out. And I was like, I don't think that's normal. So I started Googling and I was like, this is not normal, because it was like a lot. It wasn't just like, a little bit of, no. It was like gushing. It was mixed with the water, so it was like kind of watered down, but it was like, I mean, it was gushing out of me. It was really gross. So I called Nick immediately and I was like, hey, I'm bleeding like a lot and my water just broke, like a lot of blood. I think you should come home. He's like, okay, I'm coming home. So he came home immediately. He was only a few minutes away. I called my mom and she's like, your water broke, but that's a lot of blood or whatever. I don't know. She didn't know how much blood it was, but she was like, that's concerning. You should definitely call your doctor. Okay, so Nick came back and I'm starting to get emotional thinking about this because it was really intense and I have a lot of hormones right now, but it quickly became obvious that this was not normal and that this was really dangerous, and basically that I was hemorrhaging. I was bleeding so much. It was pretty terrifying. It was just gushing out of me, and I would like try to stand up to go like change so we could go to the hospital, but I was bleeding everywhere, so I'd just go sit back down immediately. And Nick was like, come on, we really need to go. We need to go to the hospital. He was aware that we had a short amount of time before things would be really dangerous, possibly, because I was bleeding so much, losing so much blood. So in the moment, I wasn't crying or anything. In the moment, I was really calm and I was just like, okay. I had done a lot of like preparation for my mindset for birth, and I was like, okay, if I start to freak out and go into fight or flight right now and do all this stuff, it's just gonna divert the resources my body needs away from what it's doing right now and into me freaking out. So I'm just not gonna freak out. I'm going to be calm. I'm gonna let my body just do what it's doing, and I'm going to remain calm. So I remained completely calm. It was really scary. I didn't know what to do. I put on, my friend had given me Depends basically as a joke for my birthday a while ago, like 2 birthdays ago maybe, saying I'm getting old. And I'd saved them and I was like, I bet I'll use it in pregnancy one day. I'd saved them and they were in my room. And I was like, I'm gonna put that on. I grabbed that, I put a pad inside of it, okay? So that's already made to soak up a lot. I put a thick pad inside of it, and then I put on tight black shorts and a black shirt, and I grabbed a black towel. Did not realize that was not gonna be enough, but it was a huge towel too. It wasn't like a tiny little towel. So we got in the car, we grabbed our bags and everything, got in the car, and I was just sitting there, and it was like a 30-minute drive to the hospital, and maybe more, I don't know. And I was just sitting there, and suddenly it was so scary. And suddenly I would just feel blood gush out of me, and I mean like gush. And I was like, Nick, more is coming out. I wasn't panicking like I seem like I am now. It's just like, more is coming out. I was trying to be so calm, but I just kept feeling it gush. And then eventually I felt it gush out and over the Depends that I was wearing or whatever they were. I felt it gush over, and it was coming out of all the sides and into my shorts. And I put my hand on my shorts and I picked it up, and it was just covered in blood. And I was like, Nick, look. And he was like, he was trying to be calm, but I was like, oh my gosh. So then it started soaking the towel through all the way. And it was really scary because it was so much blood coming out. And I was like, I haven't felt him move in a while. I don't know if he's okay. And I was really freaked out. He's like he's just relaxing and chilling while I'm telling this dramatic, emotional story. He's so relaxed. So we were rushing to the hospital. Nick was definitely speeding to the hospital. And we got there, and I was like, yeah, I'm bleeding a lot. And they were like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then I showed them, I was wearing black, so you couldn't really see how much I was bleeding. Then I showed them from my hand, and they were like, okay. And they immediately took me back. So whatever, I went to triage to be assessed. It was like 2 seconds, guys. I got there. And I was basically immediately wheeled into another room. And then immediately, Nick came in, the doctor came in, I think it was the doctor, and they were like, okay, you're gonna get a C-section right now. And I was like, what? I don't know why I didn't think of that, but it's my first time. So I was just like, okay, I'm getting a C-section. Okay. I mean, I was bleeding so much. I was like, obviously something has to happen right now. So there was this really nice nurse, and they put me on the thing, whatever, and wheeled me into the operating room. And it was so scary. Nick couldn't come with me. I wasn't really thinking about that in the moment. I was just like, okay, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna be fine. And I was just being calm. I don't really know what I was thinking. There was a nurse like behind my head, basically at the top of the thing that I was laying in, whatever it's called. And she was like patting my head, and she's like, you're gonna be okay, you're gonna be fine. And I was like, should I be panicking? Because I wasn't panicking in the moment. And then I was laying down there, they got me in the room, and they said, put your heels together. And they put a catheter in, and I was like, ah! It wasn't like the most painful thing ever. Kind of felt like cervical checks. It wasn't like that bad. But I was like, ah! And then the last thing I remember was he put the thing on me, and hi. And I was like breathing in, and they were like, okay, we're gonna put whatever down her throat. And I was like, I can hear you. I thought they were gonna like do something kind of painful, like put something down my throat while I was awake. And I was like, I can hear you. And the sound started to like vibrate in the room. It was like, because I was like falling asleep. Because I was being put completely under. Duh. I wasn't already in a normal labor and on an epidural or anything like that. I was just rushed there. So they're putting me to sleep, like when I got my wisdom teeth out. And so I was like, I can hear you. I can still hear you. I can hear you. And they were like, yeah, we know. And I was like, I was determined to say I can hear you as many times as possible until I could no longer hear them, so that they would not do anything, because I have a fear of like them doing something thinking I was asleep, but I wasn't asleep. So I was letting them know I was not asleep. So I said that a million times. And then I woke up so confused. We got to the hospital at 8:40 and he was out at 9:11. So it was very fast. It was like, boom. I woke up around like 10:20, Nick says, and my doula, who I'd never met, I'd actually only talked to her on FaceTime because of coronavirus. So I had never met her in person. She was right there next to me, and I was like holding her hand or something, or then I end up holding her hand somehow. I don't even know what happened. And I was so confused. I was just like, I wasn't even like, where's the baby? Is the baby okay? I was so out of it. I couldn't even like remember anything. I was just kind of like, I don't know what's going on. And he, meanwhile, had gone to the NICU because he was having trouble breathing. He was a big boy though. It was 38 weeks and 3 days, and he was 8 pounds and 7 ounces. So big boy. Forgot to mention that it was 38 weeks at that time in a couple days. So he had gone to the NICU, he was on oxygen, and Nick was with him. Nick had gone to him, and then the doula, she was with me. And then she told Nick that I woke up. Nick came in, and he showed me a picture of him, and I was just like, oh, I was so confused. Like, oh my gosh, I have a baby. Like, I didn't see him being born. I didn't experience it at all. I was asleep. So I just wake up, and the baby is out, and I'm just like, what? Very confusing experience. And then basically for the next several hours off and on, either Nick was holding my hand or my doula was holding my hand. I was just like, I was just laying there, I think just saying a lot of random stuff over and over and over. I was on morphine. Every 10 minutes I could click the button and get more, and every 10 minutes I was like, click, 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 because all I was doing was just laying there holding their hand and just being like, ow, it hurts so much, because I was just in so much pain. I mean, a C-section, everyone watching this probably knows, but maybe a couple people don't know. They cut you open and take the baby out. So they cut me open right below my belly button. And guys, I am not a person who's like, oh, surgery is no big deal. I'm freaked out by it, okay? My mom had had an emergency C-section actually before, and she said it was no big deal, like the actual procedure itself, not the recovery period. But she's like, it's no big deal, it's not that bad, whatever. So because she had told me that before, I was like, okay, it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine. If she said that, she's not super into blood and surgery and all that either, I'll be fine. So that was good. But anyway, I was just like, I was really out of it. I was really confused. I wasn't in very much of a motherly place, because When I learned so much about the process of pregnancy and giving birth, and it's absolutely amazing. When you give birth vaginally and particularly like unmedicated, all these incredible hormonal things happen. When you have different like medications, different things, different interventions, they happen, but like they're not quite the same way. Not as maybe powerful. I don't know how to explain it. It's a lot of confusing science stuff, but if you look it up, you can see what I'm talking about, all the hormones. But all this amazing hormonal stuff happens to your body when you give birth, and it helps you like heal, it helps you bond with your baby, it helps you produce milk, it does all this crazy stuff. And when you have a C-section, it's not quite the same. It's a very unnatural way to give birth. Obviously, it had to happen. I'm not like, I wish it hadn't happened. It had to happen. There's no other option in the moment. I was hemorrhaging, right? So I don't like regret it or anything like that. That would be weird. But it was weird waking up and just being like, I didn't feel very motherly or like bonded or like, oh my gosh, I have to see my baby. It wasn't like that. I was just like very confused. So that was kind of strange. It was just a strange experience. Not what I was expecting. Okay, I didn't mention this and I realized I should add this in. After all this happened, they I don't know what the word is, tested something, my placenta, and basically my placenta got an infection, which caused me to go into labor, and then it started to like separate from the wall, like placental abruption, something like that. So that's dangerous, whatever, and that's why this happened. I had an infection in my placenta, which caused me to go into labor. There we go. So Nick showed me, he's smiling. Nick showed me a picture of him and I was like, oh, and Nick was like, he's so cute. Nick was so into it and the whole thing and just talking about how cute he was and just freaking out. And I was like, wow, this is the cutest thing ever, seeing Nick freaking out about him. But I wasn't feeling very like bonded to him or like even like, oh my gosh, I need to see him, which was so weird. And I was like, why am I feeling like that? But I know I had a major surgery. I was on lots of morphine and whatever the heck else, and the anesthesia was like wearing off, and I don't know, it was a lot going on, so whatever. So then they had a live stream for in the NICU, so I watched him. I could see him on the live stream from my room because I wasn't allowed to go in there yet. I was like out of it. So I just sat up and like watched him on the live stream all night. I slept for 1 hour after I had a freaking surgery. I slept for 1 hour and I stared at him all night on my phone. And I was like, it's so cute. I was like, how is he my child? Like just seeing his face, I was just like, this is insane. Like this is the face of my child. So weird. So the next day at 9 a.m., I got to meet him, which was amazing. They took me out of whatever the heck room I was in. And then they brought me to another room. I don't know the rooms. And I got to meet him on the way, which was so cute. I didn't get to hold him or anything yet. It was really sad. But I got to like, I think, put my hands in and he held my fingers, which was really cute. I was like putting him in, he was like, it was really cute. Oh, look at this. He's so cute. So then I had to kind of like stabilize the next day. So I didn't get to see him from 9 a.m. I saw him at 9 a.m. Then I didn't get to see him until 11 p.m. But I was out of it the whole day anyway. I was just like, I was just so confused. I was in so much pain. I couldn't use any of those freaking muscles in here anymore. All in my abs. I'm doing a postpartum video. I'll talk all about that. The recovery for this is insane. So I had to like grab the sides of the bed. They had like bars. Use my arms for everything. I still had a catheter in me. It was very strange. Walking was so difficult. Sitting up was so difficult. I didn't want to lay down because then I couldn't get up. It was so hard. Oh my goodness. So hard. So I finally got to see him again and I got to skin to skin. I still didn't feel very bonded. I was just like, it was kind of a confusing feeling because I didn't have that same like hormonal rush. I was so confused, but I was like, I know it'll come eventually. I know it will come. So I got to skin to skin, which was so cute, but I was just still confused. I was just like, I mean, I was on like, I think morphine was, it was starting to wear off. I wasn't on morphine anymore, but there was just a lot of things that I was on that had happened that I was just in kind of shock, I think still. And I was just like very confused, but I knew it would wear off and I would feel bonded to him eventually. I knew that would come, but I was just also felt kind of guilty, like, why don't I feel bonded with my baby? But then I was like, that makes sense. You just had a major surgery and a very shocking, traumatic experience, and you had a lot of medication, and you're gonna be fine. So that was good. I was able to reassure myself. So then on Wednesday, so I had him on Monday night. On Wednesday, he was able to come to our room, which was amazing. But then on Thursday, they checked his like jaundice levels, where they're like all yellow, you know, and it was kind of high, so he had to be under the blue light, and it was so sad. They put him under the blue light and he hated it because he wanted to be held. Ugh. And by the way, at this point, I'd still slept 1 night, 1 hour one night and 1 hour the next night. I was not sleeping. I was just like awake the whole time, wanting to see him, looking at pictures of him, watching him on the video, just whatever. So I was holding him like the whole night, the night before. Oh my gosh. So he had to sleep in there, in the freaking thing with the blue light, and he hated it. And he had to sit in there for 3 hours, and he wouldn't really like sleep. And so I just went up to him and I put my fingers in, he held my fingers, and I was like crying. I was like, I'm so sad you have to be in there and you hate it. I just thought it was so sad. They were like, you can put him in the nursery. I was like, no, I'm not gonna put him in the nursery. No one can hold him because he has to stay in here. Then he'll just be crying and no one can hold him. I could not do that. I literally could not do it. I was like, he has to hold my fingers. And then I would feed him every 3 hours after 3 hours of being there. So I did not sleep that night either. Again, except for like an hour. Insane. And then on Friday, he was a lot better. And then we got to come home. And then the wild postpartum experience at home started. Oh my gosh, guys, it is no joke. But I'm gonna do a video on that, like healing from a C-section while caring for a newborn, my postpartum experience. I'm gonna do all that for, I think, probably the next video. But now I'm gonna get to a couple of your questions. I mean, there's not that many questions, but I do have a couple of questions you guys asked on my Instagram. Okay, did you feel fulfilled with how it went? No, I did not feel fulfilled because I was freaking asleep and it was very traumatic and I was just like, bleh. I definitely, obviously would like to experience a well, not obvious, I guess not everyone. I'd like to experience a vaginal birth. That would be nice, but sounds like I would feel a lot more fulfilled than this. I did not feel fulfilled at all, and that's okay. Not every experience is gonna be, it's gonna be this perfect experience, you know? What was your reaction when you first saw Barrett? When I first saw him, I was just like, well, it just sucked because I wasn't in my right mind exactly. So I was like confused, overwhelmed, shocked, and just like, this is my child? How does he look like that? How is he my child? I was confused. Once again, not every experience has to be like this perfect magical experience. It was amazing. Like that first week, it was amazing and horrifying and painful at the same time, you know, but worth it for him. Totally worth it, 100%. But my gosh, very difficult. Okay, next. Do you think preparing yourself physically and mentally or emotionally helped at all? It did, actually. So I wasn't preparing for a C-section, but all the preparation that I did, like mentally and physically and everything, it was very helpful. I had really worked on my emotional, mental state and like remaining pretty positive about things, and that really helped me to like stay calm and focus during the like traumatic car ride and everything and not flip out. So that was good. If you could, would you choose to do a natural birth instead of a C-section? Yes, I would definitely choose a vaginal birth over C-section. Definitely. And I don't know if I'm gonna get to do that next time. I have to talk to my doctor and blah, blah, blah. Were you in complete shock? Were you prepared for anything? Were there any complications? Okay, well, duh. If you've seen this, you know there were complications. I was definitely in shock, and I had told myself with my doula, we had talked about this, expect the unexpected. So I was okay with surprises because I wasn't like so set on like it has to be this, because I knew you can't control it. You can hope for the best and do your best, but you can't control this. Like I can't control, I had an infection and my body was going to labor and all this stuff was happening. Well, how am I gonna stop that? I can't. Rate the pain on a scale of 1 to 10. I mean, the whole experience, I don't think it got to a 9 or a 10. It was more like prolonged pain and frustration, which was like a very painful experience overall just because it was so lasting. So it was like a lot of pain at like 6, 7, 8 that just kept going on and on and on with the healing experience and everything. I mean, still I have a lot of pain and like the frustration from that and the shock from that. But I would say my miscarriage might have been more painful. I'm not sure. I don't know. Would you do it again? Duh. I wouldn't be like, oh, I wouldn't do this again and not have him. If I had to go through it again to have him or to have a baby, I had to go through the same thing again, I would definitely do it again. Absolutely. Wouldn't want to do it again, but I would definitely do it again. It's 100% worth it. Do you have a big scar from the surgery? Yeah, I have a big like line. I don't know what it's gonna look like. I honestly don't care what it looks like, but it's kind of annoying because it like tightens up that part of my stomach and the rest of my stomach like hangs over it 'cause it's kind of like loose right now. So it's kind of like, it gives you like this hanging over stomach, like automatically when it's just your skin. It's kind of annoying, but I don't really care that much. Okay, did you get to hold him right away? Nope. I didn't get to hold him until the next night, like 24 hours later. It was really sad, but I was out of it anyway, so I didn't realize how sad it was. What's been the hardest part of your C-section recovery? I'm gonna talk about this in the postpartum video. How did you remain calm? I think a lot of prayer. I think it was God, honestly. It was a lot of prayer, and I was just like, God, gotta stay with me here. My family was praying for me. They were all freaking out. And I was just like, I'm going to be calm, period, because I knew it would be the best thing for my body. What was the first thing you felt when he finally arrived? Well, when I first knew he arrived, I was confused. It was confusion. Did you go to the hospital expecting you need a C-section? No, I did not expect that at all. I was not thinking, oh, I'm gonna get a C-section. I don't think I was even thinking of what was gonna happen. I was just like focusing on the moment and being calm, but I did not think, oh, I'm about to have a C-section. I did not think that. Was Nick allowed in the operating room? No, he wasn't. Were you sad you ended up in a C-section? I know it can really affect some women. Yeah, I was definitely sad, and I was like, what the heck? I felt like I was robbed. I mean, but it was like I robbed myself. Not like someone else robbed me. That infection robbed me. I did feel like that, like I was robbed. I didn't get to like have like the hormonal rush and like all the benefits of a vaginal birth, and for him to have them also, there's a lot. If you guys really look into it, it's pretty amazing. It's like really amazing. The birth experience is amazing. I feel like I'm not putting things in the best words in this video because I'm so tired, but I'm doing my best. So I was sad, but I wasn't like down on myself because it wasn't like I did anything wrong. What was your initial reaction to being told you need an emergency C-section? I was just like, what? And then suddenly the next thing I knew I was having it. It was like 1 second. Are you upset you didn't get to experience natural birth? Yes, I am upset, but once again, I'm not upset at myself, so it's okay. What was the most traumatic part of the experience? Probably the bleeding was pretty scary, but also like C-section, they just wheel me in there and I'm just like, ah! That was kind of traumatic. Were you scared? I mean, kind of, but also not. I don't really know what I would have been scared, or in the moment, I didn't know what I would have been scared of. So I wasn't really scared. I was just kind of like, okay, this is happening. This is it. This is how it's going. All right, so that is all the questions. Thank you guys for submitting them. And I'm gonna be asking you to submit your postpartum questions on my Instagram pretty soon. So make sure you're following me on there. Make sure you're following me on there if you want to be a part of that video. And subscribe if you want to follow my entire motherhood journey and learn more about my life. And you can follow me on social media. All the links are in the description. I can't believe this is finally like, oh, the pregnancy's over. The moment has happened. The baby has arrived. That was a little startling. The baby has arrived. It's just so crazy. So insane. He's just so cute. I'm just like staring at him. I'm just like, what the heck? This is my child. What the heck? It's pretty insane. You are so cute. So pretty crazy. And now we're on to the motherhood journey and postpartum and all that. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all your support. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.